Welcome, everyone. It's great to see you all. We're excited to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Ohio Family Engagement Leadership Summit. We are so glad that you could join us on this day of professional learning meant to take family, school, community partnerships to the next level. My name is Marcy Cam, and I will be this session's moderator. This session is on empowering families, strengthening communities through leadership, advocacy, and school partnerships. If you do have any questions or technical concerns, please message me privately. If you would like contact hours for the session, a code will be provided at the end, and you will enter that into a request form. Please be on the lookout for the code as it will only be provided once. And to ensure that you get the most out of your day, we do ask that you turn off your webcam and microphone. If you have questions for the presenter, please use the chat feature, and I will pass them along in an appropriate time. And I know this will be a very interactive session, so I know there will be lots of talking and going back and forth, which is phenomenal. And I'm just going to go ahead and introduce our speakers, and then we'll get started. So first we have Carla Poole, the Executive Director of the Central Ohio Parent Training Institute, where she passionately leads initiatives to empower parents and children through leadership, development, advocacy, and civic engagement. With a strong background in community organizing and commitment to social justice, she has been instrumental in expanding the impact, including the introduction of Spanish language cohorts and the development of the Children's Leadership Training Institute. Also here is Balkis Mercedes, the site coordinator for COPLTI, where she plays a pivotal role in organized events that foster community engagement. From back-to-school bashes to national training sessions, she's been instrumental in creating impactful experience that unite families, educators, and community leaders. And Tiana Lee, a Columbus, Ohio native, is dedicated community leader with over a decade of experience in relationship marketing. She's recognized as the networking princess, passionate about creating safe spaces for personal and professional growth. She operates The Corner, a free store providing essential resources to parents in transition. And she also hosts The Slumber Party, an empowering event for young girls and teens focused on leadership, self-esteem, and community engagement. And last but certainly not least, Denicia Cummings is the Director of Innovation and Technology at COPLTI. As the founder of Next Gen Knowledge Network, she launched the Rising Stars Literacy Leadership Program, a transformative initiative focused on improving third grade literacy through innovative literacy and technology activities. And with that, I will turn it over to our presenters. Welcome.
Carla, you're muted.
It looks like you're muted again.
Yes.
Okay, see how excited I am to be here? I just jumped right in. So yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Marcy, so much for that awesome introductory. And I want to thank the Ohio State Family Engagement Department for this opportunity for us to be able to present today. So as Marcy has stated, my name is Carla Poole. I am the Executive Director of Central Ohio Parent Leadership Training Institute. That is a mouthful, I know. We call ourselves COPLTI for short, which is also a mouthful. We started in Central Ohio in 2018. We are a national model starting in 1992 through the Children's Defense Fund in Hartford, Connecticut. Our curriculum is based on a Harvard level curriculum at an 8th grade instructional level for understanding and comprehension to be able to serve everyone, so everyone can be able to take our class and be successful. We are in 20 states. We're also in Australia. We're on 3 reservations. We have over 69 sites and over 10,000 alumni graduates. I share that with you so you know the impact that we've already made in the community thus far. Our founder, Elaine Zimmerman, saw that there was a lack in family engagement, which we all know because that's why we're here today. And she did some research as to why. Why is there a lack of family engagement? Not a lack of wanting to be engaged, but a lack of family engagement. There is a difference. So the research showed that parents needed and wanted tools to be effective in their engagement to support and advocate for their families. So our purpose, so COPLTI's purpose, goal, and mission are very similar. And that is, we want families engaged. We want them to be advocates and be aware of civics in order for them to lead their children for better outcomes for their future, for all children, all children. So I wanted to just kind of share those things with you and kind of lead to a pic. Do we have a picture, Denicia? There we go. So this picture that you're looking at here, and you'll hear more about it as each one of us presents, but some of our engagement, a lot of our engagement is we remove barriers for parents to attend our class. And so the barriers that we remove is we do family style dinners. We also offer childcare or CLTI, which is children's leadership. We offer transportation. And then we also have a contract with Mid-Ohio with fresh produce and food that we offer to the parents at the end of class. So they actually shop at the end of our class. After a 3-hour class, they get to go and pick out fresh fruits, different items that they can take home and serve for their family. So we do truly believe in removing all barriers for parents to attend. And we know that those are some of the barriers that prevent parents from being engaged is, dinner time when things are happening, homework time, childcare, all of those things are barriers. So it's real important to remove those barriers. So that leads into a question that I have for you. So I want to ask you, and the question is on the screen, please share one word that describes parent engagement. One word. So I want you to think about that for a few moments. What is the one word that you would use that describes parent engagement? And you can put it in the chat. Oh, I see it coming in. Wow, they're coming in really fast. I'm going to have my team help me.
Yes,
Tiana?
I have acceptable,
Okay.
worthy, connection. Tiana, go ahead. Yes.
Hey, I see communication here. I saw crucial, commitment, worthy, empowerment, accountability. Yes. Meaningful. These are great
These
answers.
are great. Partnership, involvement, empowerment.
Yes, that's it. Parent engagement is all of that. It's not just one thing. So if anyone thinks, well, parent engagement is PTA, PTO, nothing against that, but it's more than that. There is a lot more to parent engagement, family engagement. So thank you for everybody putting your one word. Oh, they're coming in. They're still coming in. So I thank you for sharing your one word. That's real important. And I wanted everyone to see that, to see the importance of family engagement and that it means different things to different people and that it has more than just one meaning. So we have one more question. So we're going to do Slido for this question so we all can have some fun with it. So if everybody gets their camera out for their phone, please, and use the QR code. I want to ask you this question. Please share one word that describes what advocacy means to you. So we're going to take a few moments while everyone gets their phone out, puts their camera up to get Slido so that we can see the words as they come up on the screen. And the more times people use the same word, the bigger that word becomes. So we want to see where we land with the one word that describes advocacy to you. So it's a great visual to be able to see that advocacy is voice, but around voice is all these other pieces, which is real important for us to see it as a visual to really get the impact. So at this time, I'd like to bring, and I have the honor of bringing Belkis Mercedes, our site coordinator, to the front of the room. So Belkis, you have the floor.
Thank you, Carla, very much. Is everybody able to hear me? Yes, excellent. Okay, just had a little technical problem with my mic, but anyhow, I feel honored to be here today. It is a pleasure. to join everyone in this Family Engagement Leadership Summit, and also to share all that we offer. As Carla mentioned, I am the site coordinator for the English, Spanish, and Children's Leadership Training Institute. We actually offer 20-week session, which meets once a week. And the classes meet at different days of the week. And a lot of times when you think about 20 weeks, it sounds like a lot. But once you begin our sessions, those 20 weeks will fly. And that is because we make everything interesting. Everything is intentional. And one of the things that the Central Ohio Parent Leadership Training does is that during these sessions, we develop community. And we develop community building a network of parent leaders that are encouraged to connect with each other, share their experience, and all the goals. Everyone's goal is actually to improve their children's life, improve the community that they live in, and make collaborative changes. That is what makes our group interesting and unique. Also, in our groups, we share diversity. Diversity is a big thing for us, especially for phase one, because we celebrate everyone's culture. We celebrate, apart from the culture, the racial and also the social economic diversity that every parent leader brings to this group. So we encourage parents to appreciate the value of diversity, which is critical when you're talking about community leadership. So we create a space where parents feel safe. And I use the word parents. A lot of times you don't have to be a parent, but you can be an uncle, a grandmother. You can be somebody that is concerned about a child. But we celebrate everyone's diversity. We have people from different parts of the country that are part of the English class. And also when we speak about the Spanish class, we currently have service 19 countries, ranging from Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Cuba, Colombia, Ecuador, Nicaragua. So you name it, we have had one person from each country. So we're only 3 countries away from being able to service the 21 countries that make up Latin America. That's what makes us great and unique. And also, during these sessions, we learn about each other. One of the emphasis that we make, especially during phase one, is finding your voice. A lot of parents or a lot of our participants, when they join the sessions, they always speak about the fact that it is kind of intimidating to get in front of a mic and do a presentation. So we help parents discover and amplify their personal voice. So the parent leaders are taught to express their thoughts, their ideas, their concerns in a way that can influence community leaders and policymakers. And that's what we're always looking for. Now, parent leaders get to practice public speaking during section 10. They will do a presentation. It's actually like a 3-minute presentation, and they will present their concerns. And then during session 20, we are able to compare their delivery from the first session, the 10th session, to number 20. So we actually emphasize also the advocacy skills. Parent leaders learn how to engage in discussion and decision making. They learn how to go back into their schools, attend PTA meetings, attend parent teachers meeting, and whenever they face any type of issues with their children, how they're able to work and navigate through the hierarchy of the school. Also, we encourage them to attend city councils, also community meetings, because now once our parent leaders go through the 20 weeks, they are fired up. They want to make changes, and they're looking for things that they're passionate about. And once they begin, we cannot stop them because we fuel them with empowerment. And all these skills, you can go to any other service that is being offered that may be teaching leadership, but you will not find that uniqueness that we offer in Central Ohio Parent Leadership Training Institute. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about phase 2. And phase 2 will focus on the civic and democracy. So participants or parent leaders learn how the government works and how to engage with local and state and also federal system. We always invite a representative from the community so they can just speak a little bit about what they offer. And also we expose our parent leaders to the various systems. We also do policy advocacy. So we teach our parents about advocating for policy changes. A lot of times when decisions are being made, parents are not sitting at that table. So we actually encourage our parent leaders to form parts of those decision-making, whether it is in their community, in their schools. And our parent leaders are now more active reading the news and making sure that they form part of those meetings or those activities and those decision makings. We also make a lot of emphasis on community organizing. So participants are guided on how to organize community efforts to collaborate with others, whether it's local or any other issues that are happening. And then we go right into what is called the action planning. Parent leaders actually begin developing specific action planning through their community project. Throughout the 20 weeks, parents leaders have to put together a community project that they're passionate about. And that community project can range from making changes, and I'll give you some examples of the community projects that our parent leaders have put together. It can range from, getting more interpreters at the court system, or maybe making a change when you have an emergency. A lot of you know that when you call 911 and you speak any other language other than English, an interpreter has to come into the line. How long does it take for that interpreter to come in? So every minute counts. We have parent leaders that are working to make, our school lunches more nutritious, and also to ensure that every child has a meal, especially during the lunchtime. So these are the things that parent leaders put together. Their community project, the outline of what their community project is exhibited during graduation. They don't have to complete the community project. Many of those community projects are still ongoing. And I will say that so far we have had, from the beginning, since Central Ohio Parent Leadership began, we have had over 200 community projects. Some of those community projects are still ongoing, and some have been finalized. Okay. At the end, we hold a graduation at the State House, and during that graduation, we make it special because our parent leaders are special. In this ceremony, we have public officials. It is a major event. It is a unique event, and it symbolizes the hard work that they have done. The other thing that I want to mention is that as the parents are in their session. Also, the children are learning about leadership. We believe that leadership needs to start right from the beginning. Why wait until a person becomes an adult? We start them very early so they can be exposed and they can drive that desire to make changes in their community and also continue that legacy and probably be our next president of the United States. Also, I want to make emphasis on the fact that once they complete the 20-week, that is not it. We have, and Tiana will speak a little bit more about that, but we have alumni that meet once a month. They will meet also as needed, depending on what type of project they're working on. And we have a supportive system where we hold these parents hand by hand until they're able to reach their goals. A lot of times we will be meeting with them to talk about resume writing or any other topic that they may be interested in. So I will say this again. We are unique because our facilitators are also unique. We pick the best of the best. Our facilitators are all certified. And aside from being certified, we ensure that they're passionate about the community, that they're passionate about the families, and they're also passionate about their children. And this is what makes us different from a lot of the other programs that you may see out there in the community. So I am going to ask you guys, and this is going to be kind of open, okay? How did your parents engage in school community while you was growing up? You know, what was it that, what did you see? And anyone can answer. I will ask maybe Denicia, if anyone would like to answer that question. How did your parents engage with school and community when you was growing up?
Such a great question, Belkis. I'm looking at the chat right now. As soon as some answers come in, I will read them off for you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have one. We have Dana. My aunt, what did she say? My aunt was all school-related events. Still does so for my children. Engaged fully from Jill, K through 12 and beyond. My mother did not engage with the school community. She worked long hours and didn't speak English. That's Sarah. So far we have a wide range of people, a wide range of inputs. My parents attended all school events, direct communication with teachers, PTA or PTO. Here we go. My dad was a leader in our small community and brought me along modeling the action. My mom was behind the scenes as a support, PTA meetings if the school called, field trips, attended assemblies and activities and fundraising. PTA president, Julia. Nice, very nice. Yes,
Excellent.
yes. So yes, wide range.
Okay, excellent. I appreciate the input that you guys are providing. And I just want to make emphasis on one of the comments. We do have a Spanish group, and a lot of times language can be a barrier. Once our parent leaders go through the process, it doesn't matter what language they speak, they will be at those PTA meetings, they will be actively participating, making changes, requesting an interpreter to make sure that their voice is heard. And this is what we like, to see that dynamic. We like parents to actually engage. Now, I will ask you the second question. And here we're going to use Slido. So the second question is, how do you engage in school and your community today? What are you doing? Or how do you engage? That will be the question. How do you engage with school and your community today? One of the things that I would like to mention also, those are great answers. We love it. And that is exactly what we look for when each and every one of us engage with school and community. You guys provided the correct answer. I also want to, anyone that is on this chat, I want to encourage you. We do have an upcoming cohort For the English group, we will begin on September 29th. So it's maybe like a week, shy of a week. You're more than welcome to enroll. You can look us up on Facebook, Central Ohio Parent Leadership Training Institute. I'm not sure if we're able to distribute some of the flyers, but we do have our English group that will begin September 29th. If you know anyone that speaks Spanish that would like to practice their Spanish skills or only speak Spanish, they can sign up, and that group will begin on November 3rd, as well as the children leadership training sessions. So I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time just to listen about what we offer and what we're all about. It's always good to make that type of connection and work in partnership. We do appreciate your time. Now, I would like to take this moment to introduce the one and only Tiana Lead, and she is our alumni coordinator. She is unique and special. So Tiana, the time is yours.
Thank you, Belkis. Thank you for that. Firstly, I would like to extend a special thank you to the family engagement team at OSU for this opportunity to speak on this platform. And thank you to Carla and Belkis who have shared everything that you've shared thus far. Hello, everyone. My name is Tiana Lee, and I am a parent leader. My goal here today is just to give you a little bit of a visual for our program from a parent perspective. But in order to do that, I'm a person of order. So I would like to take just a moment just to give you a little bit of history on how I got here. Central Ohio Parent Leadership Training Institute, also known as COPLTI. It was put on my radar by one of my mom friends. She raved about the program, you know, how awesome and informative it was, how me it was. So like any normal person, you know, who trusts their friends, I was like, you know, sure, you know, I'll take the class, you know, send me the information, send me the link. And she did. So I filled out the forms. August rolls around, and you know I get a call to set up my interview. And I had skimmed the literature, but honestly, I had already talked myself out of the class when I saw the commitment. You know, I was like 20 weeks, like what? Like wow, you know. But I said, you know, Tiana, go to the interview, get more information, fill things out, and then make your decision. So I show up at the interview. I think it maybe was about an hour. And I promise you, like during the hour, we spent maybe about 55 minutes talking about how demanding my schedule was, how I literally was trying to figure out, you know, how in the world am I going to fit one more thing on my plate, right? But I'll tell you, you know, the last 5 minutes of that conversation, you know, I just had a moment with myself. And I said, no, you know, I'm going to make this work. You know, I'm doing 5,000 other things for everyone else. You know, it's time to pour into me. So I agreed to take the class. You know, I didn't fully know what I was getting into, but I had this pulling on me. You know, once I learned more about the class, got the information, heard a little bit more about the curriculum. You know, at the time of my interview, I had been in my position with relationship marketing maybe about 11 years. And, you know, I had had so much professional development. But what I was searching for in this moment was an opportunity for me to get personal development as well. And what's more personal than parenting, right? So I was intrigued by the program, you know, from the title alone. You know, I had heard of many training programs, but I never had come across a program that, you know, a parent leadership training program. And although this is not a parenting class, you know, it is a blueprint that educates parents, families, and communities on how to advocate for their children and themselves in their respective spaces. And for me, you know, this was a game changer because, you know, as we all know, there's no manual for parents. You know, we kind of pull from everywhere. So when I committed to the class, you know, I was in a space where I knew the professional chain of command. But when things and policies and rules and regulations are affecting you and your family, your community, you know, personally, you know, where do you go? Like, who do you talk to? And this opportunity was for me to get the best of both worlds, both parenting and policy. So at this point, I'm all in, ready to go. My only reservation, I remember from the interview was the classes were 3 hours long. But it was amazing to see that the very thing that I did see as a hurdle, it was actually like the best part. That intimate time that we spent together, it was full of so much substance. There were times in our cohort, when we were like, okay, we're going to have to take this offline, talk about this later, because the substance, the dialogue in our class, it was just that rich. In the beginning, before we really got into the meat of the content, it was a release for me, to talk about not only who and how I was as a parent, but to also talk about how your experiences shape, why you are as a parent. We pulled a lot of things from the back, brought them to the front. And the class was not just exclusive to parents. We had people in the class who served as advocates for children, and also community allies in the conversation as well. Our class and other perspectives were very diverse. Every class, every discussion, every interaction, it was had with the thought of better outcomes for children at the core. What I also appreciated about the program was that we were charged with a duty to come up with as Belkis mentioned, a community project, a problem that we wanted to solve. So now they had me, I'm learning while I'm leading, and I have a chance to bring everything together, make it personal. My community project was centered around personal and professional development for our youth and young adults through the teaching of life skills. A goal of mine was to expose children and to expose children to other children, outside of their homes, classrooms, and neighborhoods. I chose this particular avenue because with the removal of home economic courses from the school curriculum, I understood that not all children learn the basics at home, for a lot of different reasons. And I would like to, if I could, just highlight that we do, as Belkis mentioned, have over 200 alumni just throughout Central Ohio who are living and breathing their community projects. One project that I would like to highlight from our most recent cohort is the project of Ebony Eldridge. Ebony's project was titled Silent Eyes. Silent Eyes is an interactive 8-lesson workbook that walks children ages 5 to 13 through healthy and unhealthy relationships, boundaries, expressing emotions, and so much more. So here we are, two years post COPLTI, and a lot has transpired. I now serve as the alumni coordinator. I'm responsible for supporting the alumni engagement for our organization. I walked away from COPLTI with so many tools for my toolkit. As I mentioned before, COPLTI, I was already an involved and active parent, the PTA parent, PTO parent, the present parent. But after COPLTI, I not only wanted to be like the present parent, I was a parent who understood my power in the spaces in which I was present as a parent. I was more confident in my public speaking skills because with the community project, you had to actually present the project to your cohort and community leaders with an entire plan for execution. I was able to accept constructive criticism. I remember when I was deciding to go through the program, I was up for a promotion in my department. And I walked in, I was so ready for that interview. I remember walking in, my boss was like, wow, like what's gotten into you? And in my mind, I was like, COPLTI has gotten into me. So, I walked away also with a new tribe. I have lifelong friends. I was able to network with different people in the media who are serving in the community in different capacities. I also walked away with an understanding of how things actually work, especially at the state and local levels. I learned how to read a state budget, learned who the city officials were, and actually met some of them personally. I learned who the leaders were in my specific district, started attending their events where I could hear their agendas, hear their stance on different issues. And I'll tell you, I always explain it like this. Yes, I was a parent who was active and involved, But when it came to the issues, the policies, and the things that were going on around me, even in those spaces where I was present, it still felt like a language barrier at times. But once I started with COPLTI, it was like, man, like I'm learning the language of this system. I've been on television a few times, interviewed, called to sit at different tables and spaces where the hard conversations are being had. I've always loved the hard conversations, not because they feel good, but because they are usually the conversations where growth and transformation happen. Um, and now that I'm finished COPLTI, I really love the hard conversations because we learned this concept I over E, which it stands for intelligence over emotion. Yes, emotion is important, but COPLTI taught me how to, allow my emotions to pull me towards the issues, but not to allow them to push me away from the table or push me out of the room. I've learned about brevity, and as Brooke has mentioned, we had to narrow our project down to 3 minutes. So I've learned a lot about brevity and framing and, how to actually use my voice effectively so others can hear me. Because we all know we have thoughts, ideas, views, but how do we effectively articulate those things so that others can actually hear us, right? So I just want to leave you guys with, there's so much power in being a parent. When you become a parent, you're actually automatically looked at as a leader. Your children look to you, your communities look to you. And sometimes we come into leadership, whether we want to or not. So I'd always say, while we're here in this space as parents, why not pick up a few extra tools? I'm a firm believer that you cannot drive systemic change without first understanding the system. And that's where COPLTI fits in. COPLTI was able to give me the knowledge around the who, what, when, where, and why surrounding policy and civics. And I was able to take that knowledge and elevate and level up as my role as a parent. So I learned to be a leader within the most important title that I wear. And I'm forever grateful and thankful to COPLTI. And that is my time. I would like to thank all of you for making and taking the time to listen to my portion. And now I have the esteemed pleasure of introducing our community ally, Donicia Cummings. Donicia, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Tiana. Thank you, thank you. And hello, everyone. So first, I'd like to begin by sharing a bit about my journey and why I'm so passionate about the Central Ohio Parent Leadership Training Institute, or COPLTI. So over the years, I've had the opportunity to work with children. I've been a substitute teacher. I've been a volunteer CASA. And through those experiences, I realized something very, very important. Our children's well-being is tied to how our communities come together to support them. I recognized that there was a strong need for community members to come together, discuss the challenges our children face, and take action on their behalf. And I knew that there was power in numbers when it comes to advocacy for children. So when I first heard of COPLTI, I wanted to be a part of it, but I did have some hesitation, right? First of all, at the time, I no longer lived in Central Ohio. I lived in Maryland, even though I was still heavily invested in my hometown. But I think more importantly is that I'm not a parent. And, in my eyes, that made me feel like I might not fit in and with a program that's designed for parents. So I did speak with Carla Poole, and she assured me that COPLTI is not just for parents, but for anyone committed to improving the lives of children in our community. So I joined the program, and it was truly transformational. The material that we covered in the program was so rich and comprehensive, as you've heard. And what made it even more special for me is that my cohort took place during the pandemic, right? And so it was at a time when everyone was being told to stay away from others. And yet COPLTI provided me with a safe space to connect, learn, and grow together, even virtually, which I thought was pretty cool. I found the topics we discussed incredibly timely, especially given that I had younger nieces and nephews who were all navigating the same issues that we were seeing in the news while sitting at home by ourselves. So we were looking at things like race, politics, and so much more. And they had so many questions, and I wasn't sure how to explain it on a level for them until COPLTI. So the tools and the instructions that I received through the program helped me have those difficult conversations with the young people in my life. And, I can continue to go on and on about how awesome COPLTI is. But I'd like to share a bit about my community project, which COPLTI helped me design. One of the things that I appreciated most about the program is that it didn't tell me what to do or how to do it. I was encouraged to pursue my own interest, and I had a mentor to guide me through that process. At the time, I was working in investment management, and I knew that many firms wanted to give back to the community, but they just didn't know how. So they typically just threw money at things, as a lot of organizations do. And that's not a bad thing, right? That's not a bad thing. But I decided to combine my passion for environmentalism and my knowledge of the importance of outdoor play for children into a project where businesses could adopt a local park and keep that clean for the children in the community. I know that keeping parks clean is how parents will begin to continue to take their kids to those parks. A dirty park, you see all trash, you don't want to take your kids there. And all of a sudden, more seedy people move in, and all of a sudden, now the park is not a place for kids to come play. And that was the premise behind my particular project. The goal was to create a safe, clean space for kids to play outdoors while engaging local businesses and community service. So I had the opportunity to pilot my program with my organization that I worked for, and it was an awesome success. Even though I was in Maryland, and I thought that was even cool. We got to go clean up some watersheds down on the Chesapeake, and so it was also a day off work, so it was a win-win for me. So even though I'm not a parent, COPLTI gave me a deep sense of community. I had the opportunity to work around some brilliant parents and parent allies, tackling issues that affect our children in our communities today. And that's why COPLTI continues to be so meaningful to me. And as diverse as our cohort is, so are the community projects. So one example that I would like to draw everyone's attention to as we continue to talk about community projects is Celine Pasha. Her community project focused on holistic self-care. Celine's goal was to ensure that parents practice self-care holistically, tending to their mental, physical, spiritual, and environmental health, to ensure that the parent can bring their whole selves to the activity at play, whether it be parenting in a PTA meeting, whether it be teaching their child in times of the pandemic and what we were watching on TV. And so you get to see a whole range of passions that fuel the projects, all working to uplift and strengthen the community and the betterment of our children. And it really it guides parent engagement. So now, transitioning from my topic and my highlighted community project, I would like to provide everybody with a structured way that we personally use in the COPLTI classroom to identify problems within our community and tackle those particular issues. So you'll see me look to my right because I'm looking on the screen at this point, and we call this framework the 7-step problem analysis. Is anybody familiar in the room with the 7-step problem analysis? You can put it in the chat, and it's on the board, so you might be a little bit familiar right now. All right, so it's okay. It's okay. I've not seen anything in the chat, and that's okay. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, I'm going to give a brief segue, and then I'm going to turn it over to Tiana for our activity with the QR code. So number one, we'd start by defining the problem. We examine the root causes, and we learn about the community's involvement in that particular problem. We move on to looking for alternative viewpoints on the problem, because for some, it might not even be a problem, right? Some things we look at and we think is a problem, a majority of people may not think it's a problem, or a minority of people may not think it's a problem, but we look for those alternative viewpoints so that way we can help form our solution. Then we research for a variety of solutions. We determine the solution that we're going to use, and then we describe the vision for success. Okay? So I'm going to start off with that framework, and now I'm going to turn it over to Tiana to go over the tools that you can access using the QR code and the actual screen right now.
Thank you, Dionysia. So if you all could turn your attention to the QR code, it will take you to a list of community problems where you could list out a few community problems. This is just a tool for you to tuck into your toolkit. You can use this universally in all scenarios where you are wanting to uncover a solution. This guide gives you a chance to take the time to take a deeper look at, your thoughts, messages, beliefs, and actions regarding a problem. And how many people believe that? Our thoughts turn into our messages turn into our beliefs, and our beliefs ultimately turn into our actions. And I'll hand it over to Donicia, who mentioned who mentioned that we're going to use this guide in conjunction with the 7-step tool to capture the baseline to frame our thoughts, surrounding our problem. And Donicia, I
Excellent.
will turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Tiana. Thank you. So now I'm going to apply this framework to a hypothetical real world example of a problem, right? So let's say, for instance, we have a problem in our neighborhood. And the problem is speeding drivers in a residential area where our children walk and ride their bikes. We understand that there's many thoughts, messages, and beliefs and potential actions to this issue being discussed within the community. So we decide that a stop sign would protect our children. However, we're not sure if that's the right way to go. So we're going to look and use the 7-step problem analysis. So we start by clearly defining the problem. It's the dangers for drivers to speed down the residential streets, right? We then explore the root causes. These could be anything from new housing developments to a lack of signs, a lack of speed limits, and a lack of stop signs, right? So maybe a neighborhood that was once small and didn't have much traffic is now more populated, and therefore there's more traffic and more drivers trying to get to where they're going, right? So then we say, okay, what different perspectives can we look at here? And we might examine a couple. I'm not even going to go into it, right? Because you know what? The fact remains that the safety is priority and speeding cars pose a risk to our children. So from here, we research potential solutions. We can put those slow down signs in our yards, the little ones with the person kind of standing there, the little kid standing there like, slow down, it's our lives. And that's cool, right? Or we could approach the homeowners association, which might be slow, or even worse, they may charge us. And even if they charge us, we pay for it, right? There are kids, of course we pay for it. But we think a better option might be going to our elected officials and advocating for a stop sign and maybe clear speed limit signs that will draw attention to the legal speed in the neighborhood. So we say, okay, well, while these temporary solutions might help, like the slow down signs, a true stop sign and speed limit signs would be the most effective action, right? And so by evaluating these options, we determine that advocating for the stop sign within the community by meeting with elected officials and gathering power and numbers of our neighbors will be the best way to advocate and approach this community problem, right? So in this way, we see the larger framework of problem solving helping us drive change for the better. And this is the tool that we utilize from the beginning of COPLTI to begin to frame our problem solving abilities and analysis, right? Now I'll say this. This is a super watered down version of the activity completed during the session, 1000%. This is just an illustration of the tools that we use and that are provided to us in the 20-week session. So I appreciate everyone listening and giving me the time to share my piece, and me and Tiana the chance to share one of the tools with you that we have in COPLTI. And I'm going to turn it back over to Carla Poole to close us out for the day.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, team, so much for sharing and giving so much knowledge to what we do. I'm going to go straight into the last question. And if you could, Denise, put that slide up for us. So we have one last final question we want to ask you. Based on the conversation we had today, what is the most important skill that a parent leader should have to create change? What is the most important skill to you? Now, there's no right or wrong answer. We just want to hear from you. So we have the Slido. If you could go back to your phone, put your camera up and put your answer in. It'll come up on the screen. We'll all get to see the answers. So we're just going to take a few moments to do that. Oh, cooperation. Just want to close out because we just have a couple of minutes left of our time together. Keep bringing the answers in. We'll keep it right here for just a moment. I want to thank you for listening to us. You heard the history, the process. We defined advocacy, engagement. We heard testimonials. We got examples of change. we were able to take some of the tools that we learned in PLTI and actually apply them. My favorite tool is the thoughts, messages. Thoughts lead to messages, messages lead to beliefs, and beliefs lead to action. You can use that in your home. You can use that in everything. It is so true, especially with our children. What thoughts do our children have? What messages are those thoughts turning into? What beliefs do they have from that about themselves, about the community, about the world around them? And what actions are they taking from that? So just think about that in that sense. Danisi, I thank you for all the answers. They were amazing. I'd like to go to the last slide. Yes. So I have a charge for everyone today. One is to take the tools that we have shared today and implement those into just everyday life. And I also ask you to please share COPLTI. If it's something that you feel is for you, please sign up. Spaces are filling up. Class starts on the 29th for English, and as Belkis stated, and November the 3rd for Spanish, and then the children start on November 3rd or 4th. And so we do have Spanish, English, and youth. If you aren't able to utilize or take advantage of the class at this time, please share it with someone else who could get tools to fill up their toolkit to be able to create change for everyone in the community. Is there any questions before we end out today? Please put them in the chat. We will try and answer them before we log off. Oh, we're at 2:55. So Marcy, we have a few minutes for questions, or are we done?
Yes, you can have 3 minutes for questions.
All right. Any questions for us? I don't know if anyone's able to come off mute. I can't see anyone.
I just
But
have to say, I want to thank everybody else for thanking us in the chat right now. It's our pleasure. Like, thank you all so much. It's our pleasure to be able to present this. We're all so passionate. What is the key word for the session? I see Paula there. But yes. No, thank you all so much. I'm just responding, and I really, really appreciate the love. We really, really love the work that we do.
We do. I hope you could tell. Yes.
Someone did have a question.
So
There was a cohort sessions. Are they all in person?
Great question. 3 of them are in person, retreats in person, which is all day. Then we have session 10, which Belkis has spoke about doing your presentation, and Tiana had spoke about session 10 and 20 are in person. The rest are virtual. So there's from 6 to 9, one night a week. 6 to 9 on English is Thursday night, Spanish will be on Tuesday night, and the youth will be on Monday night.
And it's also free, so you don't have to pay for it.
Free. I love that word, free.
Are those QR codes on the website?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I had to go to the team member.
The tech over here. Yes.
Yes.
So they're on our website at www.centralohio, apparently plti.org. And also, let me do this real quick. I'm going to put it in the chat, our website, which has our, excuse me, it has our
Facebook page.
applications right on the front page.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm typing, and as you know, I'm the tech person over here, so I've got a few different screens working for us, but I threw that right in the chat for you. So
Thank you. I want to share.
Yes,
Thank you
you're
so
welcome.
much. Go to our Facebook page. Please follow us. It tells you everything that we're doing and when we're doing it. So that's Central Ohio Parent Leadership Training Institute.
All right.
Someone also had one last question about bringing this to other states or district in some kind of train the trainer model.
So we are in 20 states, and so we are actually looking at, you said states, but I'll share this real quick. Cleveland is looking for us to bring this model to Cleveland, and we're in talks with some people there. But yes, if you want to contact us offline, please do that. I can share what states we're in. If you also go to our website, National Parent Leadership Institute, National Parent Training Institute. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. So that will share with you exactly what states we're in and what sites, because there's 69 sites. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, and we also, Carla, we're also in Hawaii, Australia. We have a request to begin services in the Caribbean as well. So we are growing, we are expanding, so which is a great thing.
Wonderful. Well, please, I see a lot of love coming through the chat and lots of requests to bring it to their city and area. You may have a roadshow coming up. So please, everyone join me in thanking our presenters for sharing their time and knowledge and expertise and inspiration. While we do hope that you can take some of this from today and apply it to your work tomorrow, the learning doesn't stop here. Be sure to be on the lookout for emails from the Ohio Statewide Family Engagement Center for follow-up opportunities to the summit.